Well, welcome anyway. Thanks for coming. So we've got Barry Taylor, Tim O'Combe and Sue Brady. And obviously, as you know, it's the 150th celebrations this year. So we thought we'd get a number of people together and talk about their time with the footy club, which is why you're here today. So it's not uniformed or anything like that. If you feel, just say things, any stories you remember or talk about that. But if I might just start with Baz and your connection, obviously Taylor Name's well known through Dunolly's history, but just your connection, how you become involved with the footy club. And
Oh, well, showing my age, but when I was a young fella, all you ever did, you gravitated to your sporting clubs, your footy clubs, tennis club in my case, cricket club. And my old man and Ron Gordon used to run the raffles around the ground for the under-14s. So that's sort of my early memories of being here. And then you just, even as a little kid, you come up to training nights and things like that. And training nights were in the old sheds down the end here, the corrugated iron sheds down here, and then just worked your way up under 14s and juniors, and then into the age limited football under, I don't know, 21s and under 19s or 18s or something like that. Then into open age reserves, and I didn't play too many senior games. I wasn't that bloody good, but and then into, I become the secretary, took over from Sue as secretary, and left to go on the police force, and then come back out and was president for a while, and that sort of thing. That's sort of my association. I'll coach the juniors, under 13s or whatever it was.
so it's been a long one.
Yeah.
Tell Baz, even just tell us about your memory from those sheds back then.
Oh,
What were they like?
Those sheds, those sheds were about as rough as you could get for a footy shed. They were made out of corrugated iron. The men's urinal was just a trough that ran out through the back wall. And it was battling to be concrete. It was on the floor. It was narrow, cramped. It was awful, really. And then there was the visitors' room, which was even worse again. I do remember the canteen was very good. It was a huge big room with a huge big stove and cooking range, and there'd be people in there, Beryl Greco and Dos Polinelli and different ones. And there was turned out plenty of good tucker, and the timekeeper's box was next door to it, up on a bit of a sort of about level with the roof of it. But yeah, it was rough. It was very rough. Much more salubrious conditions these days.
So when this come along, it would have been.
Oh, I thought it was Christmas. Yeah, yeah. Although it was always unusual with the concertina door just separating visitors from the Dunolly side. That was always interesting at times.
You get changed and then at the end of the game, the curtain comes across.
Yeah. He opened the whole room out there.
It was like it was the room and the curtain was pulled, and we're on one side and they're on the other. And because after the game, you blah, and a couple of beers, getting dressed, going into the showers, coming out, chains, and still digging out. And they give you so much time, and then suddenly the curtain would sort of pull open a little bit, and in other words, hurry up a bit, and come out a bit further until we basically all half chains, and they'd open the curtain, so you start mingling and go and get a drink, but didn't realise back then that it was really near getting chained and everything, but wives or girlfriends or mums or dads, they couldn't come in. They were stuck in the car or outside in the cold until we were good and ready to open the curtain. As
the seats were up along the walls here. That's where
I don't remember the curtain. When did they get rid of that?
That big, it was a big concertina.
That rings a bell.
That comes across.
Eh?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, go out that door to get a drink.
Sue, that might have been maybe 2 years before Jim played.
Oh, okay. That came down.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, because the change rooms were basically where the showers were in there, and you'd be all using the same door, and you'd have a shower there and shower for us and shower for them, and the toilets were at the other end. And yeah, it was just, mate, sometimes you'd go in, and you'd look and you go, oh, everyone's lined up in the Dunolly.
So you didn't have the change rooms down there? Oh.
All in here for a little, and in here behind the bars.
Yeah,
You go.
yeah. I think the visitors went in through the bar door here, and we went in through that one there, and you're virtually showering beside each other.
But you could walk all the way through.
Yeah.
It wasn't a divide. And you'd go in there sometimes, and if it was, sometimes you were smart, if it was a shitty day and you're covered in mud and it's cold, and you'd get in early because we had a bad problem running out of gas and hot water, and you said, I'm getting in early, and you get to go in, and there's two or three lined up in our shower block, and you just look in, and there's only one or two, and they just didn't matter. It was just as long as you could get a shower, and you had to get sorted and come in here. That's why they had to keep the curtain shut until hurry up. And it's taken too long it was strange. We just got used to it. That when it all evolved to our shed we got now, because people are all already in here, warm, all waiting. We'd come from in, change, and come in. It was a hell of a better setup.
I remember being in here once, and we'd played Chewton, and Gary Shields was their full forward. He was he was probably a policeman at the time, fairly big bloke. And Robert Edwards was our full back, and probably not a tougher player, played the game of football. He played for keeps, Robert. And this Gary Shields had used to wear a bike helmet. And Robert went straight up to him. He went to shake Robert's hand. Robert just grabbed the bike helmet, threw it over the fence. And this Gary Shield had been averaging something like 6 or 7 goals a game. And Robert kept him to about 1 or 2, belted him from pillar to post, and he took himself off at half time. Well, I don't know whether he hung around on the bench or not, but when it come to the end of the game, he was in having a shower. Robert went to shake his hand. He wouldn't shake his hand, turned around and walked back out of the shower. That was Gary Shield. But, nah. Yeah.
And Tim, take us through your involvement, how it started to come to...
Oh, yeah, it started, not like Barry. I wasn't born up here. Travelled up here from Melbourne. They parents bought a little farm out the road, and I used to come up on weekends, just to get out of town. I was working down there, and it was good. It was a good way. I couldn't wait to Friday, knock off work in the city on Friday, just get up here, and it was just a completely different thing, when you come up and it's no
Did you come by train?
I drove up and back.
Still had a train there, though.
Back and in the end I had a bit of some time. Sometimes I'd have a few days off, so I'd stay. And my brother was up here. He's a year younger than me. He'd been up here a little bit longer than me. And anyway, we were there, and he would go into the pub, took me into the pub, and he said, "I'll come around and start meeting people." So that's the best way. And the best way, he said, just come to the footy club. You'll sort of, there's the grassroots of where everyone is involved. And so I did that and met a few, and then at the pub as well. And then someone said, "Oh, you want to have a kick?" I said, "Oh, I'm not much good." And I said, "Oh, back then numbers were numbers." But I did notice back then, especially with country leagues or smaller teams, if someone new came to town, it was like the alarm went off, and you either get knocked on the door or, "Hi, mate, I'm so-and-so. Are you interested in playing football?" "Oh, not really." "Yeah, you should come and play." And that's funny. Natty would do it. I know Natty, and they're playing Bialaba and Natty. They came out home. I didn't know them. I didn't know anyone, but everyone was polite and welcoming. Come and play football. That's how it started. I ended up, I thought, well, my brother's in here, I'll come in here. And it's basically where it started, and had a bit of training. And I remember the rules, and I remember Chris, way back then, it was, now that you have to train, you have to train. I said, "Yeah, right." And back then, you used to get a fair crew on the training track.
Yeah.
A big crew, beating others. And back then, they had 19th and 20th man, and in the Magoos or in the reserves. And I trained and I got fitter and I trained. And then after about 6 weeks, I said, "Oh, I was getting emergency. And I just started. I said, "Well, is there any hope I can make 20th man?" But you've got to. They said, "You've got to sort of, we've got to know you can." I said, "Well, how am I going to play when I'm I can't get a kick. I can't even get the ground. So next week they said, all right, you can go on the bench. I went on the bench and on and off, and that's where it started. Like, yeah, I got a bit of a go, and yeah, I was sort of remember at the start. I said, oh, you all want me to play, and I'm thinking, but I don't even make number 20. Like I might have been number 21 or 2 in the order. But yeah, it's funny how you just stick at it, and then you meet people. You grow up with the people, and then it gets social. And it's funny how then you just watch it. It just goes by. You got no control over it. It just happens, and you really you enjoy it. Then you get on your committees, and you give something back.
So you've been involved like Barry. You've been past president.
Yep.
Of the club.
I think we did the tag team of everything. I think there's
Could have been. I can't remember.
secretary come
Yeah.
president.
Yeah. I was never president.
No, and then you just at work. But yeah, same as with any a good committee, and just need numbers, and every teams are saying up and down. And it's good to see the.
It was great doing the Lexington League when they shared the grand final around
Yep.
at all the different grounds. That was good, wasn't it?
Make it easy.
It made it
Because if
terrific.
top money was a bit tight, and you
Very tight.
and you knew you went to these delegate meetings and you put your bid in. We want Dunolly to have this final or that final because that's where our money's going to be. And the other teams, believe it or not, they were very welcoming to who had the best ground or what suited them.
Yeah.
You might have wanted this thing, but if there's two sides that were the standout that were going to play off, they were the ones that basically said, look, I want you to go for the preliminary final. That's where the money's going to be because these two are going to really go at it. And yeah, it was.
That was really good, though.
And you knew big crowds, big days.
Great from the club's perspective, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Put it together.
It did, really, really.
And it put your club on the map.
Yeah.
You're exhibited that.
Yeah.
You mightn't have had a team in there.
No, that's right.
You're the winner, and you hosted it, and you made sure, all officials, they were seated, they had their own everything, and keepers, they had a table put aside. We ran extra barbecues, extra bars. We wanted to put a show on and make everyone enjoy the game. And you call on a lot of help and a lot of friends, and there's a lot of logistical head scratching. It happens. And on the day it was sent back in the horns are going, the crowds are cheering, you think, just look at this. Where else would you be? And it happens everywhere in country Victoria.
And you look back on those particular days and those nights when we're doing that sort of thing, and there was tents going up left, right, centre with barbecues and beard. Local businesses were getting.
And everybody, it was a huge community thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well, terrific.
And then you'd get on with the netball, you get the court so they can have a decent. They were always and that really got rolling with a bit of help and a few grants, and they really got some top good courts. But then there's a lot of
to that Lexington League. It was a large boost for the netball too, because prior to that in the Castlemaine district, netballers weren't playing at the same
That's right.
venues
Yep.
as the football was played at, and juniors for that matter too. They were playing at other grounds, and then they'd have to come back to the seniors, or parents would have to run them back and get back to football, and that it was spread out all over the place. But when that move into the Lexington League came, everybody was at the same venue, and that was terrific. That was fantastic.
For the league itself. They look back and all the delegates, they just look back and we did it for them. Every other club, they all had their, and that was a big thing. But it was a magnificent effort when there's wherever going to go to, but here, when it was chock-a-block, when you had girls, the streamers and everywhere, and cars where couldn't get on the street.
No, it was huge.
And it was,
It made a lot of money.
a lot of work.
A lot of work and a lot of
And
money.
you're right, on the Friday, like today, for instance, before there would be a little army, there would be tanks going up, and there would be stuff, and make sure this is right, and it's sort of a bit of work and a lot of meetings and committee meetings, delegates meetings, and then you could sort of, a few beers after a few, and maybe getting home a bit later. I think it tested a few families at times. But that's happened everywhere there. I was told on numerous occasions that you've done a lot of work there. And I said, yeah, you don't realise. You step back and look at it, oh, hell, do a bit of time there, but you don't realise, do you, at the time?
No, no.
It's something that's just doing that. No.
If you're worried about where your time was going and those sort of things, you wouldn't do it.
Pretty true. You didn't realise on you start and it's daylight and it's dark going on.
And Sue, tell us about your connection. What brought you to the Dunolly Footy Club,
Well,
netball club?
We came back to Dunolly in 91 and I had a lot of kids, but the boys were boarding and my girls were ready to play netball. And I think Becky would have been in year 8. So she was the eldest girl. So we started in, under 16s. So we started with the netball. None of the boys played footy then. Matthew might have nearly started. And then did a few years of netball. I used to sit over there on the fence and watch the reserves. I thought, oh, okay. And then I went home halfway through the reserves, never watched the senior football. And then Jim left uni and came here, started to build our house. And you'd say people came to ask anyone, well, no, we're waiting for someone to come and ask Jim to play football. And I think he went and said, could I come and play football? So he came up and then the boys left St. Pat's and they came. So then we got involved in the football. And so a few years, Joe Greco, I was secretary, president of the school council, and Joe Greco, the club was struggling. We hardly had any players. It was a really tough time for the club. And he asked me, Joe became president, and he was quite elderly, my age now. And he said, would I be a secretary? And I said, sure. And I was a secretary of the netball and the football. And it was tough, but a lot of boys came to play. They came from Melbourne, they came with my boys, and it was quite a vibrant time for the club for those few years. We got to a grand final in the seniors football. We won netball juniors grand final. The netball was booming and the football was good. We won junior under 16 back-to-back premierships, and we got into the grand final of the runners-up. So it was a buoyant time at the club, but still we struggled. Those boys left. The Melbourne boys left after 2 years, I think, and then struggled to get boys to come and play. I mean, they all had to leave. There were no jobs here.
Yeah.
They went to uni. It has been a tough time. And then the Lexton League disbanded. Manu went into recession. We had to find another league. We went into the Carnham-Linton League, which was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It was so far away to drive. And then we decided to leave there and we went to the Loddon Valley, which was a much higher standard. And the girls did well in the netball and the boys struggled. We absolutely got flogged in the Loddon Valley, flogged. And but I learned a lot as secretary when we were in the Loddon Valley because Russell McGibbon was the secretary of the Loddon Valley.
Terrific.
And I remember they ran it really well, didn't they?
They were brilliant.
Very, very professional. Because I remember one day a bloke arrived here. You could not go onto the ground unless you signed up. And we were very particular about this, but he just came in, said like a game, and somebody said, oh, okay, put on a jumper, and out he ran, and he promptly belted someone.
From Newbridge.
And Russell McGibbon was here that day.
Yeah, right.
And he said, Sue, that bloke's not registered, he shouldn't be playing. And we had to go to, I don't think we went to Melbourne. I'm trying to think where we went.
I reckon we went to the QEO in Bendigo.
Maybe.
I seem to remember.
He had been kicked out of a league everywhere he played, this bloke.
Surname.
And he just come here and he was a crazy man.
Brad Dixon was playing that day.
Oh, was he?
He was a Tarnagalla policeman at the time, I remember.
Oh, it was that. So, but there were some fantastic times. We had fantastic events in the rooms,
Yeah.
didn't we? We
Yeah,
had
ab-
bands and
Yep.
and
Well,
it was just a terrific place to be a kid.
Oh,
I reckon.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we had the tennis club, we had the swimming pool, we had the footy, we had the cricket.
Yep.
And the kids could do all year something. And it was, my kids just
Yeah.
loved growing up here, ride their bike anywhere. They did. And they talk about it, you know, they loved it. And really, it's a great thing for a kid.
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
fantastic. Like before your time, even I can remember as a little kid of a Saturday home game, himself and with Tony Mason, a few of your mates, you'd be up here, you'd only be 6 or 7 years old. You just
Yeah.
went home in the morning
Yeah.
and you'd be at the footy all bloody
That-
day long
Yeah, that's right.
and walk home overnight or ride your bike home and whatever. And that's what you done.
And I dare say that Barry, like all the locals would have known who you were.
Oh, yeah.
Just as a 7-year-old. So
Yeah, so you couldn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong because,
No,
uh,
no, it was terrific.
yeah, well, it's sensational.
And Tom is my youngest, who's now 32. He wasn't a great footballer. He knew exactly he'd be a great coach, knows how to play, never got a game in the first, played in the under-16. He used to come home from boarding to play, and then he played for a couple of years in the twos, and he loved it. He still loves it, even though he wasn't very good at footy.
No, that's all.
And he had mates.
Yep.
They all had mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrific.
I was going to say, the other thing, youth free being involved is all three of you got children who have all gone on to play for the club, whether it be netball, football. So that involvement kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we're right in there. Yeah. So
Yeah, well, mine will be if they were here too.
pretty good for footy.
Uh,
Yeah, no, that's they sometimes you forget it, and when you see them waiting to go to training after school, it's just they can't wait.
yeah, that's right.
They're just training, and then I still remember even the girls when they were playing netball Saturday night. It'd be 7 o'clock or 7. And they'd be walking around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Mm.
We're waiting to go. I said, yeah, ages to go. No, wouldn't take it off. They just could not get there quick enough. And then it was, you hang a sit around. Oh, we didn't want to sit in the car, same as what you said, with a group of them, and they'd just be around.
Yeah, they'd be around the ground.
Yeah.
A few romances.
Yeah, around. It was good. It was sort of, like you said, everyone's a seniors about, but there's so much more behind it when you see the youth getting involved in sport. No matter how good they are, how poor they are, or whatever.
Mm.
They walk around here. I still sit in the car sometimes and I'm watching, and it's a bit of a winter's day, and there'd be 3 of them still in their footy nets.
Yeah.
So they've played the under 11s, and either a singlet or something on in the football, and you see them at 3 or 4 in the arvo. They must have been freezing. No, loving it. It's good. It's actually good to watch it evolve. And
Well, I think that's what's great about football clubs in country towns,
Yeah.
because you really don't have much else, and that's why I think we fought so hard. Our club, it nearly went down, didn't it?
Absolutely. That was.
And we fought. It was I think actually the netball that kept it going, but we did fight to keep it going, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had to.
We had to.
And I think going to Maryborough was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I rang Jock Sellers one night, and I said to Jock, "What about we Dunolly come back into Maryborough District?" And he said, "Oh, you've missed the timeline." And I sort of said, "Bullshit, Jock. We can sort this out." And I spoke to Russell McGivern. And we also had a bloke, Alan Davies, was the, it's now Football Victoria or something like that, but he was their representative in the league, and knew him, no doubt, involved. And we had a meeting over at Jubilee with other presidents from the Maryborough District League, and we had to show them what money we had and things like that, and just bang like that, next thing, I think
Yeah.
a phone call a few days later said, welcome to the Maryborough District League.
Do you know what year that was?
2000.
2003 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 5.
No, I was
Was it
still
5?
no.
You were still here.
Yeah, I was still here. I left
Mm.
halfway through 2004
Yeah.
in the police force, but
Oh.
so it would have been 2003, 2004, I think, one of those.
Well, yeah, Josephine played in the grand final in Maryborough. I know they won.
Yeah, but further on that, the value of country football clubs,
Mm.
apart from providing a sports facility for kids to play football and that, it's also good for the town. The
Yeah,
money
absolutely.
that goes back into the town from a football club,
Absolutely.
the money that it generates, and then on top of that, we had the rodeo going for a number of years. The turnover that went back into the town was incredible.
Tell us about the rodeo. That was a massive thing.
Oh no, that was wow, gee, talk about spending time and tired.
It was a nightmare.
that was
Wasn't
hard work.
hard work.
Look, it was great.
It was on our ground. I mean, how
First one was out on
how
the ground.
crazy was that?
Yeah.
It took
Years to get the
years
ground.
probably
to
to
get-
get the beautiful ground back.
Yeah, looked
Little-
nice, but
There
Oh,
was sand,
yeah.
and we couldn't get it all off.
you want to see the people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work.
But it was just a logistical nightmare.
Was it like financially viable? Big ones out.
it wasn't.
Race course?
Oh,
It was
that
financially viable, but not to the level
No,
that we really needed it to be.
yeah, that's
And on top of that, the issue that I had with it, I run it for 2 or 3 years just as because the secretary of the club was also the secretary of the rodeo. So you can imagine the workload. The problem was that we had to put up a lot of money
yes, that's right.
first up.
Yep.
I think it was something like $25,000 we had to guarantee straight away.
You got
That before you haven't even
And that was
done-
scary, wasn't it?
That was really scary. The club didn't have that money,
Yeah.
but we had to guarantee it. And in effect, in the end, that's why we had to stop running it. It was putting the club too much at risk. You
I
only
think
need
also
that
we didn't make as much as
We didn't make
anywhere near
as much as
wobbling for what you had.
Yeah,
to
that's right.
The reward
Yeah.
was starting to.
And actually, I still think about it. I'm not sure the year. I think it was 2000. Yeah, 2009 was the last one we run, and so it would have been might have been 2010 perhaps, but it was always run on I think the first or the second weekend in January. Now in 2011, that weekend was when we were flooded, and I always think back, Jesus,
Oh, that's
thank
right.
goodness we're
Yeah,
running
right.
our
I
own
had weddings
weekend.
that weekend.
It would have been just a while, and that potentially would have been the end of the club
Yes.
because we didn't have the money.
We were always looking for ways to make money,
Yeah.
weren't we?
It was a great idea, great theory, but it's
So we were probably too small.
too small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was.
And
Better out at the other place, though, wasn't it?
It was better out there, but sometimes, Nook Flat used to bring his caravan out. He'd be there for days,
Yeah.
putting it up and
Yeah.
pulling it down and doing everything. It was good, but gee, it was a lot of work, but not much return.
Mm.
So if I just get you to touch on, you were secretary at the time that Joe Grayco was president.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was obviously a stalwart with the club.
Yeah.
For many
Stalwart. Well, I see his name right over there. Yeah.
Tell us about what your thoughts about Joe and your involvement with him. And
Oh, Joe was a terrific man. I think we must have been struggling then to get committee members or something. He just came up and asked me. He was an absolute gentleman. He was fond of all knowledge, running a club, I don't know that he ever played football. I never got the impression that he played football, but he did he? Yeah. He loved the football club, loved it. And it was an absolute pleasure to work with him. He was very easy to work with, and Audrey, very welcoming. They were just fantastic.
It was the same saying when we have our finals. We was talking before when we ran, and there was if you have a look, you could see his face at 3/4 time or whatever it was when we've got stuff coming in, we've got the bar money, and it's got to be put separate and counted, and we're doing well, and everyone's loving it. And he had this smirk on his face, and he's just taken it. He just loved it, and it was a lot of work, but he wasn't. He was very.
He was always here.
Yep.
We would be here cleaning the rooms. There was a group of us. There was Raylene, Kayleen, Marlene, Zulesh. We used to clean the room, and Joe would be here.
Yep.
He'd be in there doing the toilets.
He'd organise
Amazing.
working bees and things like
Yeah.
that too. Wood
Yeah.
bees and post bees and things
Yeah.
like that. He organised.
Well, he was quite old. I think he would have been 75 when I was there with him.
Mm.
And, he was terrific. And he would be probably one of the main reasons the club's still going.
Yeah,
Don't you
absolutely.
think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He was very welcoming. He was well known wherever we went. Very well liked.
Yep. Always thinking on it, like,
Yeah.
come
yeah.
up, you said, "Oh, look, I'm just thinking. You could do it this way." And I
Yeah.
well, all right, Joe, sounds it. And it was always, how can we get that better or something? But yeah, it was, yeah.
So if I could just touch on with your boys, I think 3 of them played in the 97 grand final. Daniel coached.
Oh, then, yes.
Can you remember that particular day?
I can, yes.
Tell us about that, your involvement, your thoughts. And
Was I the secretary then or not? I don't think I was. No. It was amazing, and I'm trying to think where it was.
It was Lansborough.
It was at Lance.
it's played at Lance.
Right, or the second. Right. And it was very close the whole day. I know Ben should have kicked a goal, and he didn't.
9 points, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Points.
One.
And I remember the Jess bloke, what's his name? Jimmy Jess,
He won
that
for it.
mark over the line. And
Chris Snave was best on ground.
Yep.
who?
Chris
Hay. He played really well. I mean, we played really well. I think we should have won it.
Mm.
I remember Powley, when the siren's gone. Powley's down on the ground, prostrate. No, went up, Puck, get up. Shake his hand. Poor old Powley. And up he got and shook whoever's there. It was amazing. It was incredibly exciting.
Even the training, remember
Oh, yeah.
leading up
Yeah.
to it, the nights of training.
Yeah.
tell the story, Tim, that you made a bit of a late comeback.
Oh,
You might have got a gig in that game.
it was like that. I thought, don't think I'd be the oldest, but I would have been close to it. But we just finished the reserves, and still a bit of toe in the legs, and so I just kept training, and I'm thinking, well, if I just keep training hard enough and make enough noise, someone might see me. So yeah, I didn't miss it there.
Did Hutchie play?
No.
Hutchie wasn't there, yeah.
The giant, I spoke to Daniel and Jim, and I got nothing. But am I going?
Paddy Edmonds was the assistant coach, wasn't he? Yeah.
Anyway, there was a training night, last training night, and they're all in here. And today, anyway, I was listening, and I knew it wouldn't matter. I said, oh, maybe. Anyway, nah, it didn't come. So I thought, oh well, that was my last chance to play in the damn final. Well, you just watch it go. But they came around late, like they turned around and had a chat to everybody, and they said, mate,
Who, the coaches?
Two coaches came around and said you
You were nearly there?
were play. So thanks, mate. Now the next roll was smart. I'm thinking, oh well. And anyway, I went out. I watched the game. And what have I said to you? I watched that game with I could have played in it. And when I watched it, I watched every player in it, and there was no place for me in it. I couldn't have done.
It was a great game.
It was a great
It
notion
was a terrific game.
of your two boys, Daniel and Jim, bring out.
Yeah, so they did. Yeah, so Jim, a lot of the boys who came from Melbourne were Jim's friends.
Yep.
And they were very lovely boys.
Yeah,
and
good
they-
blokes.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, moved around. I know Chris Nave came up to Joe's dinner we had in the town hall.
Yeah, he's right.
He was very fond of Joe.
Yeah.
Joe was very fond of all of them. And they loved coming here. But, you know, were coming from Melbourne.
But you
They were at uni.
how exciting is it?
It would have been.
Team, this little town,
Oh, no.
marching off Saturday to some ground
Yeah.
for the grand final. And I don't think there was anyone left in town.
No, probably not.
To take it back to it, that particular day, the under 17s had won the previous two premierships,
Yeah.
95, 96, and 97. They played off and narrowly got beat, leading up to the seniors. So it was a pretty big day for the
Yeah.
Dunolly.
Yeah.
It
It was huge.
yeah, it was that draw. Yeah, it was just couldn't wait to get there. It was
It was very exciting, wasn't it?
and to put a show on in all levels, like it was
Mm.
couldn't have. That's football. There's a lot of work goes in it, but then
It's a passionate game, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know, there was the local doctor on the boundary was
Well, here's the bonus.
fairly passionate about the whole game, wasn't he?
Vocal.
Vocal, yeah.
the occasional spray to the
No.
man in white. I heard that when I was out in the field.
And we made mention of that, Sue, that, you know, how lucky we were as a footy club for all those years that we just happened to get a doctor at the game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Oh, look, he loved it. He absolutely loved it. It was the only thing he did in all the time we were here. That was his time. I mean, if anyone came up to speak, if any of you ever came to speak to him when he was at the football, he wouldn't have looked at you.
Didn't
He just, you know, and
get around there with his binoculars or his bar and
yeah, walk away. Yeah,
shuffling down on the fence at half time. He'd move with his camera and that. Pete. And I remember when I was you play your footy, and obviously you get the odd injuries. And I'd my finger, I'd done it tended on my finger, and I thought, I'll just take it up. Anyway, it was at work and it was enormous, so I made the appointment Monday, Tuesday. Went up Tuesday arvo, see the doc, and I said, so there was a bit of a bend in the finger. Doc, give me a look. All that. Says, that hurt? I said, yes. And he said, didn't get many kicks Saturday, did you? And he proceeded to straighten my finger at a fair bit of force and giving me my stats and where I went wrong. And
yes, he'd be all over that. Yes.
He must have been good at that because he pulled my dislocated finger back into place at Serpentine.
Oh,
But he hung on. I remember he hung on to it, and he said, well, "This would have been sore after the game."
yeah.
Yeah.
2 days later.
Yeah, he's gone. So, and he kept pulling it and looking at me. He says, "So, why did you wait for today to come up?" And I said, "I don't care." He said, "I suppose." What did he say?
I don't know.
That icy bowl stick and a bit of electrical tape. Obviously, that didn't work. And I said, "I thought it would." He said, "All right. So you just thought of that. I spend 12 years going to medical school and that, and you've come up with that idea." And he still had hold of my finger, and he did and he went, "Pop, put a brace on it." There you go. But after getting a lecture,
Yes, of course.
and it was
Well, I remember Tom running around the boundary one day with a finger out here and thought, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, he just, that good. Oh, yuck.
yeah, it was
The
a good passion for it.
sat mine down on the bench there. They were just wooden benches around the edge of
Yeah,
Serpentine. Put it there flat and look the other way.
Leg.
Oh, yeah. And as I still remember that particular day,
Oh,
looking at that finger going, oh,
it wasn't pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah, so I know.
But yeah, no, it's been good.
Well, it's fantastic that it's still going.
Yeah.
Still, that the club's still going, isn't it? It's an achievement.
Pretty good way I would have thought at the moment. Seems to be a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything to do with it now, but a lot of numbers.
You coach and you play and you play again and you coach, and sometimes it's hard to say when do you stop playing. It's very hard to sit on the fence in the seat in the chair and watch it because you're so critical, and you don't mean to be, but like it's a passionate game, and sometimes you really get passionate. The best way to play a passionate game is, mate, you got to be passionately involved in it, but then now it's easy. You can come up and go phrase a book, but sometimes you're 40 and you go, no, still have a chicken. I don't remember Boca. Did you play with Robert? I reckon you had no, Robert.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I played with both of them. Robert and Andrew at
I played with
Trentham.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Trentham, that'd be
Really, somebody poked me in the eye, and I said, oh, I've had enough of it. So I took myself off.
Yeah.
I think that was it. I crashed in the goal square and I didn't bounce through it good and kick it to me. And I can't get up. Well, that was it. And I said, close the book.
I would have been 40. Oh, yeah, 40.
Good fun.
Something.
Peter Coombs used to run around and, just,
Tremor.
they're always all good.
question, sir. How many of your children play football and netball for Dunolly?
9.
No.
Yes. All of them except Luke. And I don't know why Luke never played football because he loves it, but he's a left footer. So he played rugby and soccer and, And he came here and watched, of course. But no, he didn't play. The others all did.
No, I think it's a good achievement for the club to get this far, and
Yeah,
we're part of it. Like, it's funny you put your decades in and the years, and and like I said, of getting set up right this time on a Friday or whatever it is, you'd be already up here.
We would have been late.
Kids coming across from school,
Yeah.
wouldn't they? Yep, they'd be across from school and it's just all go.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very,
Pleasure.
very much.
Already go there. Pleasure to do it. Thank you.
That's good.